Cool. Greetings, everyone. Live from the Green Bunker here in the People's Republic of Portland, Oregon. Today is March 11th, 2019, and I just wanted to kind of see if I couldn't briefly, without being long-winded and losing people's attention, try to explain the basics of starting a chapter or getting involved with the Green Party. People are like, well, there's nobody around. Who do I talk to? How do I become a Green? Things like this that I read, even from people that are doing Green work, are wondering, how do I start a chapter of my own? I'm not getting along with people on the state level, and they're not helping me start a chapter. What do I do? What can I do? And that's a whole other issue itself. If there's personality conflicts on the state level, that's really unfortunate, but hopefully that could be resolved. If not, then that's a whole other situation. But what I really want to address is just the basics of what can feel like a very complicated process of becoming Green, and what does that mean, and what starting a chapter. And the basic of any of it, the simplest I could make it, is you are one. You're the Green. In Oregon, you register Pacific Green Party of Oregon. Registration is the #1 thing you can do as a Green. And it's very important for maintaining ballot access and showing that we have numbers. We're right around 10 or 11,000 in Oregon, registered Pacific Greens. The numbers fluctuated, and we lost a lot of people to the Bernie Sanders primary in 2016 that we've been kind of limping along and recouping on some level for the last couple of years. And unfortunately, Bernie is still stoking up the Burning Man bonfire to burn the man once again and endorse a corporate Democrat elitist. At the final stretch for the GE, Burning Man, and that is a major distraction in my region, in Portland. Portland is completely and totally taken over with the politics of Bernie and Burning Man. That's what I call it, Burning Man. But a chapter is, you find three, well, in our bylaws, depends on the state bylaws, it's five people, registered Greens, and that can apply for a chapter status. Chapter with the state Pacific Green Party of Oregon. Now that can mean a couple different things. If you're recognized by the state coordinating committee here in Oregon, Pacific Green Party of Oregon, then you can officially attend and vote at conventions, but more importantly, you can be a part of even profit sharing. It's very small, I mean, but $15, $20 a month, whatever it is, you can be a part of that if you're officially recognized. Now, you don't have to be officially recognized. You can just get your 5 friends together and start practicing in real time what it means to be Green, Pacific Green, in our case. But, it is important to connect and let people know, not be a total rogue operator. You got to let folks know what you're doing. I mean, you don't have to, but it really helps with building the party, because then we can have a contact person. And that's what a chapter is really about, is you contact find out, #1, if your state Green Party has a website. Is there a nation builder? Is there a website? Is it active? You can check on social media pages. Is there a social media page? Sometimes there'll be a website to an active state party around the country on a social media, on a Facebook page or a Twitter page. A lot of times they're not active. A lot of times they've been neglected, especially chapters. Chapters come and go, but the page is still there on social media. So the best thing to do is, in my opinion, is find out who is active on the state level. And you can do that by finding a website, and you can see who is on the coordinating committee, state coordinating committee. All the state Green parties around the country follow some basic formula of a committee. Steering committee, central steering committee. People call it different things, I've noticed. Here in Oregon, we call it the State Coordinating Committee, SCC. But from there, you can see on a website, you can see if there's a chapter point person or a contact person. If there isn't, then you can go from there. If there is a chapter contact person, I would advise to reach out to them and see where they're at. Are they active? Or they have interest in being active? Just kind of feel it out and see where you can fit into your vision, whatever it is you want to do. If you want to form some officially recognized body, if that's where your ambition is, it's not where my ambition is, but that's okay. If your ambition is there, by all means, please do that, because it does help with organization. I have an unofficial working group in Portland of probably a dozen people that over the couple of decades I have gotten to know, and we talk about politics, and we talk about Pacific Green Party things, and we talk about Green Party things on the national. A couple of friends are delegates to the national committee. So that's my style of doing that, is to work and actively in our community. And I don't always have to fly the Pacific Green Party banner. Often I don't, although I do identify myself as a Pacific Green and a co-chair right now. So that's how the basics of it, when I hear that question is, how do I get involved in the Green Party? Check out for the state website and just see if it's active, it's up to date. There should be some contact phone numbers in there, definitely contact emails. Often, we've got a Nation Builder, we've got an active Nation Builder website page, and so that's kind of how you do that. And it's really important that we focus on developing local clusters, local working groups. You could call it a chapter if you want. It's cool. A working group, and that's 5 people. So you have you, 4 others, that's 5 here in Oregon, and I think that's pretty common in other places, but let's check that out. I'd love to get a bounce off on if the other states, people that are involved, what their procedures, their bylaws, those things are outlined in the Constitution and bylaws. Now, you don't have to start out with this heavy, 10-page document of a Constitution and just to get a chapter going. It's not necessary at all. In fact, here in Oregon, we were the Pacific Party before we were the Pacific Green Party. And in '96, we actually had Nader on Pacific Party. So in 2000 was Pacific Green ballot line, but I think that's how that went. I have to double check on the exact 92 to 96 and exactly what our title was there. There was a split there in around 2000 is my knowledge on it. And some wanted to be called just the Green Party, others wanted to stay Pacific, and the compromise on some level was to become a Pacific Green Party affiliated with the National Green Party. And, so back to the chapter, developing chapters is important in getting friends together, trying to get somewhere on the same page as friends, not battling it out. They'll stop going to the chapter meetings if there's battling it out over just petty business items or more significant, profound political decisions. It's not fun, and chapters implode, people walk away. Sometimes they never come back, other times you'll see them bounce back 2 or 3, 4, 5 years later, 10 years later, it's like, hey, here I am. It's all good, but you know, that is the basics of it as far as developing a chapter and getting things going in that direction. You can have a basic statement of principle and align that for affiliation with the Green Party, with the 4 pillars and 10 key values. You know, that's a basic statement, mission statement, and that's it. You're up and going. And 5 names, which needs to be approved. Now we've had some issues with chapters, you know, trying to be approved, or weren't approved, or wanted to be approved and then kind of dissolved after questioning what they were registered and what they wanted to do with the party. It's a whole other situation. No reason getting into all of it at this point, but it does happen, and so there has to be an official recognition on that level if you want to be official. Now, like I said, I already shared my perspectives on it. I don't have to be on a profit-sharing scheme with the state. I still can do what I do in Portland as a Pacific Green, and I can do the work statewide, and I'm also online, teleconference calls and email listserv strings and strings of listserv subjects on the national. You know, I can do that. I can do all that and not necessarily have to be an official group or a chapter. Now, I'm happy to help set up people in Portland, like Brian Setzler's been trying to get a downtown chapter going, and I think he wanted to call it Downtown Greens. And you know, I have a working group called East Portland Friends of the Pacific Green Party of Oregon, and but we need to focus on doing social things, and then we can pepper in business, a little peppering of business. That's my perspective of how to keep things jiving along. And I've seen a lot of working groups come and go. I've seen a lot of chapters open and close. So, and generally speaking, the key thing, especially in the state party, is the treasurer, who controls the cash, controls the show, right? It applies in grassroots too. So you need a treasurer, and your treasurer needs to be somebody that you can trust. They're going to have the bank